Hey, I hope all is going well and you're having a beautiful, blessed day today. Today, I want to hang out with you and answer a blog prompt question that I think really lends itself to telling you guys my self-acceptance story as far as my disability is concerned. And the question is, how has failure or perceived failure set you up for future success? So, when, I don't know what age I was, I forgot. But in 2011, I, for some reason, got it into my head that I wanted to go back to physical therapy to learn how to walk long distances again because I had lost that momentum and I didn't know, my body didn't know how to do it anymore. And so I went back. I actually took the initiative and told my mom I wanted to go to the doctor to get a prescription and go back. And they allowed me to go back for 6 weeks. And that, I worked my butt off for 3 weeks, learned how to walk long distances, and then the next 3 weeks I was perfecting it. Like working on my posture, making sure that my cadence was good, which means the way that my gait flows, making sure that was good, and making sure that I stayed strong and stable. So I learned how to do that, and I got pretty cocky in life. I'm like, I'm never using a chair again. And I had my mom and dad, or maybe just my mom. I had somebody in my family, my mom or my dad, I can't remember who, put the chair that I was using, which was a chair that was specifically made for me, into my grandma's garage because I was not using that anymore. That was not part of my life anymore. So that happened. Fast forward all the way to 2021. At the end of 2020, maybe 2021. Okay, so when I realized I needed a chair again, and I'm kind of skipping parts of my story just so I could tell you guys like the cliff notes, and then maybe I'll go back and rewind a little bit. But fast forward to 2020, 2021, we go to a casino, and I fall not once, but twice. And if you fall twice in public, especially in public, and you are seen, notes are taken, a report is taken, what happened, and all that yucky jazz. And it's basically an embarrassing situation. And for me, it was a very prideful, very hurtful situation. So after that, I kind of had that little pity party for myself. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I cried about it for a while. And then, a few weeks later, I find that the Rolletts, who I already know about because I knew who Chelsea Hill was and I knew who the Rolletts were, but me being in my prideful state, I did not want to have anything to do with them or the community at large of people with disabilities. Because I was so prideful that I did not want to consider myself a person with a disability. I recently looked back at one of my old videos, and I called what I have, my CP, I called it a condition, not a disability. And so, looking back at that now, I do realize that I had the prerogative to do that, that it was my own choice to do that, and I'm going to say right here, right now, that anybody who calls it anything they want can call it anything they want. But for me, right now, I do take the stance that the community is taking, that a disability is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of, and it's something that you can find your power in. But that's just a little bit about me right now. But as I had said before, you can call whatever you have, whatever you want. You could call it a condition, you could call it a sickness. You have the right to call it whatever you want. But I choose to use the words disability, and I choose to use the words disabled and non-disabled. I do not use the words I do not use the phrase able-bodied, because I believe, my personal belief is that it shows that people that have a perceived normal way of going through life are somehow better, and that people that have disabilities are less than, and that we shouldn't be counted on for much because we aren't able-bodied. So, anyway, I looked into Rolette's experience virtually, and for those of you who know this story, you know this story, but this is a live rerun, and I did say that this was going to be a live rerun of something that I had told before, so I looked up Rolette's experience virtually, because back then it was virtual because we were still coming out of the throes of the pandemic, and I didn't really feel like being in a room with 200 women when people were just sick and we didn't know who was sick and who was not. And then two, when I was barely starting out again on this journey of what is this life going to be like, because I had finally realized that, hey, maybe I do need a chair as an assistant, as a device. It's only a thing. Maybe I do need a chair as a helper to help me get around and maybe live a little bit more life. So I looked up the Rolettes. I attended RE virtually in 2021, and from the first night I was hooked. Because it was virtual, we did a bunch of breakout rooms where we got to answer questions about ourselves and the perception of disability and our journey with it. And I was just hooked because I loved that the Rolettes, and soon to find out the Boundless Babe Society, which is the mentorship program in the Rolettes for women with disabilities. And by the way, that mentorship program is accepting any disability now. It doesn't have to be a disability that is limited to a disability that requires a wheelchair. It could be any disability, and that goes for Rolette's experience as well. So if you want to go to RE, let me know and I will get you connected to the team. And I will link the team's Instagram when I tag them after I'm finished talking. So anyway, where was I? I was at RE virtually, and I just felt like so much warmth, so much love, and I just like I knew that God was calling me to go further into my RE journey and exploring my disability with the Rolettes and with Boundless Babe Society. So right after Rolettes Experience 2021, I signed up for Chelsea's first virtual class of the fall. She taught a dance class, and the Rolettes had been teaching dance classes up until I believe it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. So they taught dance classes, and I attended every week, every Tuesday. And then in 2022, I got to go to RE in person, my first time in person. And that further changed my life because I got to actually see all the women who were coming together to empower each other and just do this monumental movement of just being themselves. Because there's so often times where, and I don't know how often it happens to other people. It hasn't been happening to me as often now that I'm older. But when I was younger, and I'm sure that a lot of women and men can relate, but I'm speaking from a woman's point of view, obviously, where the first question that people think they are have the privilege to ask is, what's wrong with you? And then they expect you to give them your whole medical story. So I experienced that a lot as a young adult, as a 20-something. And I believe that as you guys know, I lost my best friend when I was 21. I almost said 2021. But I lost my best friend in 2003 when I was 21. And she unexpectedly died. Until this day, I don't know what. I think it was pneumonia, but I'm not sure. And so when she passed away, I was very, very sensitive to what people would say to me. So I just got angry, and that was the point where I did not want anything to do with the community. But living my self-acceptance life now, I just feel so thankful, so blessed, and so free to go through this life and just not have, not deal with the weight of what people think. It has been difficult because I have come up against some opposition in the past about like opinions that people have and what they think I should do, and do I look right, or do I need to look a little better, or whatever their opinion may be. But I could tell you that camaraderie of community and just learning how you move through life without any opinion and without those restrictions of I think kind of opinions is the way to go. So I would encourage, and I know all disabilities are different, but I would encourage anybody that can to get out on their own once or twice a week, maybe 3 times. I have the privilege and luxury of, first of all, living at home with my parents, so they help me like literally get out of the house. I would encourage you guys to get out of the house by yourself as often as you can, because those are the times where you will find out who you are and what you stand for and how you want to communicate your own story. And so, one last quick thing. I was thinking of, no, well, I wasn't thinking of it. I was watching Wicked yesterday. And also, yes, I was thinking of somebody. I was thinking of Jenna Bainbridge, who took on the role of Nessa Rose. Also yesterday. It's this monumentous achievement within the disability community, and just being recognized by Broadway, because Jenna is the first wheelchair user who is authentically disabled to be cast as Nessa Rose. That has never been done before in Wicked's history on stage. It has been done by Marissa Bodie in the movie, and we were just so excited about that. We, meaning the disabled community. We're just so excited about that. And as a theater lover and a performer, I am just over the moon about it, about both things happening. But I wanted to say that there can be a lot of judgment of people with disabilities that shouldn't be. Like, a lot of disabilities are dynamic, and dynamic meaning that their appearance could change day to day. So, like, say with me, when I'm in my house, I only use my walker. When I'm out in the community, going to choir practice, going to dance class, going to Bible study, and going any other long distance place that I go, I use my chair. But just because I use one piece of equipment over the other does not mean that it is not real and that I am faking. And so the same thing, I want to kind of advocate as another voice. And I know that she has advocated for herself, but I want to advocate as well as an extra voice for Jenna, because she does have a dynamic disability. I don't know what it is, but she does have a dynamic disability, and sometimes she has enough energy to not use any equipment at all. Sometimes she uses her crutches, and sometimes she uses her chair. Now, I do know that within the role in Nessa Rose, she uses the chair that Nessa uses, and then she walks during the healing part when when Alfie gives her the ruby slippers. And then as an actress, as Jenna, she comes out in her chair after the show, because she needs to, I'm assuming it's because she needs to like rest her body, and because her body has been through a lot during the show. But disabilities come in all shapes and sizes, and that has been something that I've had to recognize, not only in myself but in other people. And it is because I personally used to think that if I wasn't walking, This is another reason why I went to therapy, or the reason why I went to therapy in the first place. Because I used to think if I wasn't walking, then I would be considered less than. Then I wasn't pretty enough. Then I wasn't strong enough. Then I wasn't inspirational enough, which, as you guys have heard me talk about in recent videos, specifically I think last week's video that I did from the studio when I was waiting to go into class, I had said that we as a community need to wipe the words inspiration and cute out of society, because, and it's not because those words by themselves are bad, but it is because of the connotation that it takes. People with disabilities work really, really hard. And a lot of times by the non-disabled community, if you don't know a disabled person, or if you've never seen a disabled person do something, whether it be creative or just a regular job that isn't usually considered creative, but just something, just existing out in the world, a lot of times it is considered inspiring, and we shouldn't be considered inspiring just for existing. Now, there are times when we do something and people recognize that we're doing said thing, that we are considered inspiring, and we are told that we are inspiring, and that's a wonderful thing. But the connotation that I want to help to wipe out of society is the connotation of being inspiring just because of existence. Being cute just because I did something artistic. No, I want to be considered fascinating. I want to be considered sexy. I want to be considered, whatever. Whatever other adjective you want to put to it. But cute should only be reserved for kids, like little kids, little kids, or pets. Not adult people. And not adult people who you would perceive to be worse off than you. Because a lot of times we're not worse off than you. It's just that we honestly take 3 to 5 times longer to do something. So whenever you see somebody who is perceived to be disabled, and maybe they look like they need help, and they might have a funny look on their face because they're like pushing through, they're pushing up a ramp or something, don't automatically assume that they're struggling. And then the same thing, if you see somebody who is doing something that looks really easy, don't automatically assume that it is easy. The only thing you could do is ask and accept our yeses as yeses and our no's as no's, and not be frustrated by it, because the majority of people that you come in contact with will tell you the truth about whether they need help or not. So anyway, I kind of got a little off track, but I just wanted to say that, first of all, I wanted to thank my community, and specifically one of my mentors, Nikki Walsh, who is the best big sister. I call her my big sister. She's not my older sister. in chronological order because she's younger than me, but today is her birthday, and so I just wanted to say thank you, big sister, for teaching me all that you know and all that I need to know about living this life joyfully. I love you, and I wouldn't be the woman that I am without you. So thank you, Nikki. And anyways, you guys, I will talk to you later. I love you. And I will be back with something else soon. Maybe not, definitely not today, but maybe in the next couple days. I'll talk to you later. Bye.